Game is the game. And speaking of the game, well, the portal is active and it's a frenzy. We'll talk about more Oklahoma Sooners portal entries coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Once again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Tune in and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're an everydayer, you can get more of what you love here on the Locked On Podcast Network. You can get ad-free access to the audio feed for Locked On Sooners that's compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app, and an invite to members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord servers, which includes a group chat just for listeners. You can go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer to find out more. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. And just go find our show, click on it, and you can get all the info that you're looking for. Again, $5 a month, $50 a year for ad-free audio and a members-only Discord channel. Hey, Jay, so we got a couple more portal entries on Tuesday. Jacob Sexton, the offensive lineman, and Javante Barnes, the running back, both players of the 2022 recruiting class, both four-star prospects that never really lived up to expectations at Oklahoma.
Yeah, health was kind of the big issue you ran into. Like Barnes dealt with some stuff. I mean, in 23, you started to see, okay, there's something that could be there. The Cheez-It Bowl was your great introduction of him and Gavin Sawchuk. Both of them got 100-yard rushing in that game. In the next season, you're like, okay, you're going to get a combination of both, and it just didn't happen. Sawchuk emerged in 23, 5 straight 100-yard games as Barnes was trying to get himself going. And then in 24, it was just an abysmalness for everybody. Barnes dealt with injuries there. You got X-Rob or whatnot. I mean, but Barnes did give you the 200-yard game and his 222 all-purpose yards against Maine, in which, that's the biggest game that he had in his career, and it was a good, moment for him. And in this season, it was, you could tell that Torrey Blaylock and X-Rob were really going to be your feature backs. And so he played in his 4 games, and it got to the point of, you know what, you'll just practice. We're not going to play you. And they came to a mutual agreement to allow him to get the opportunity to go play somewhere else. And so we're wishing him the best because we totally understand it. Sexton, no bueno with him, as well as, Helms and Isaiah Dent. A lot of injury situations. Like Dent, he played in the main game, but that was the only one he was able to get into last year. This season, no opportunities really because of health. And then you've got the emergence of these 2 young tackles in Foger as well as Fasusi, who are healthy. It kind of got to the point where there's a good chance that they're going to go ahead and be the ones that lead the way. And so to me, if you really look at it, it's really all about the path to playing, and there's not very many paths to playing.
No, and again, you haven't been able to establish yourself as a significant part of the depth chart. Javante Barnes, he was a backup running back to Eric Gray as a true freshman, and him, Sawchuk, they just both battled injuries in that second season in 2023. Both had some good moments throughout. It just never able to stay healthy, never able to find their footing, so to speak, with the Oklahoma Sooners. Jacob Sexton as well. Just there was a lot of optimism about what he'd be able to do for your offensive line, just never materialized. If you can't be available, you're going to have a hard time getting on the field. Bill Parcells said it best: the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Fabechi Wiwu. That's why he's so highly thought of. You listen to guys that talk about offensive line play. He was up for the Bullsworth Trophy that goes to the best player that started their career as a walk-on. He was up for that. Like, when you start every single game along the offensive line,
for 2
that
years
is huge. Absolutely
for 2
huge.
years.
For 2 years. That's huge. It's a very physical position. So, man, it's a bummer that these things never really came to fruition for Oklahoma. It seems like the offensive recruiting in that 2022 cycle, Brent Venables' first cycle, never really came together consistently, right? You can go back and look at it. Nick Anderson, Jaden Gibson, Javante Barnes, Gavin Sawchuk, Jacob Sexton, Jake Taylor, Caden Helms. I'm sure that there's more on that offensive side of the ball that never really became significant. I mean, Nick Anderson had a great 2023, but that's really it. That's all you got out of him. The rest, you had good moments here and there, but there was nothing consistent. Defensively, though, they hit it out of the park on the defensive side of the ball in that 2022 class. And maybe some of that's due to, Brent Venables and his ability to recruit, and Miguel Chavis and Todd Bates and their ability to scout and recruit as well. So I hope, we've seen hopefully we'll see at some point the offensive stuff catch up to the defense, because until that happens, you're going to have this up and down roller coaster. But so far through the portal, man, it just doesn't seem like Oklahoma's taken that big of a hit yet. Whereas some other teams are. Oklahoma's kind of in a good spot with some of their portal departures so far.
And truth be told, we'll talk about some players that we have kind of an idea that who we think could, as we speculated. But to me, what you're getting is, now that the playoffs are over, you're going to start seeing the players that are going to hit the portal are going to be the ones that most likely don't have a path to play next season. That's kind of what it's starting to show. Like for Kobe McKenzie, what made him surprising is he was one of your defensive leaders. But if you go back and pull the tape and look at everything, most of the starts were between Owen and Kip. Now, granted, you think that you don't know if Owen's going to get, gifted by the NCAA one more season, in which, to me, I have zero faith the NCAA is going to do right by him with this lacrosse situation. So
can't bank on it.
I expect him. Yeah, you can't bank on it. So with that, you would think Kobe would have that chance to play. But then the question right there goes to, will he get the opportunity to go out there? Will it be him, or would it be Samuel Masigo, or would it be one of the young players? Would it be Nesta, Marcus James? It could be, any of those situations. Kip coming back. Kip comes back. That kind of, even though those two were really together, you could see them say, hey, we want to play one of the younger players now, leverage more speed and coverage to, be better prepared for, for the SEC this year. So there's so many options that go in there. But as you mentioned, we haven't been hit with the body blow that we took in 2023's transfer portal. I don't think we're going to see that one this time, knock on wood. But you never know. But I do believe that it's really going to be more so players that don't see a path for them to be able to get on the field next season or the season after.
A couple of things. I thought that it was really interesting. Jim Nagy, when he was with the Oklahoma Breakdown a few weeks back, he was talking about the 2026 recruiting class, but also discussed that, hey, they were already having conversations with players' representatives before the season even ended. That's the benefit of having a Jim Nagy and his staff in Norman, is that while the coaches are doing all the game prep and the practices and things like that, Jim Nagy and his people are already having retention conversations. So you're not waiting until after the season's over and you're on the verge of the transfer portal to begin having those discussions. No, those are already happening. And so they have a pretty good idea already of the guys that are going to be coming back for next year, and the guys that they have to continue to work on, either convincing to return or having those hard conversations with about, hey, this is just not the place for you anymore, and that's the big beauty of Jim Nagy and his team in the Oklahoma Sooners front office. Yeah. I mean, it's a whole team effort for sure. And Jim Nagy will never take all of the credit. You listen to him talk and he'll talk about how his guys are really doing a lot of the work. But there's a head of that. The second part of this, Jay, and this is more just kind of an aside, I have thought about it, and I wonder if you have too. What if Kobe McKenzie decides to return home to play his senior season of college football and go to Texas Tech?
I mean,
how quickly will Raider fans have to delete some tweets about Kobe McKenzie after he made some comments about best linebacker core in college football?
Oh, they're going to hit that delete button like crazy. Now,
so fast.
If I'm correct, he was never committed to Tech, was he?
No. It was Oklahoma, then Texas, and then
back to Oklahoma.
That's what I
thought. So,
but
yeah, I could totally see them taking the veteran presence and bringing them in, and really having to clean themselves up from all the smack talk. So, yeah, I can expect people to hit that delete button. But the other thing to go with that, to keep in mind, is retention is just as critical as acquisition.
Yeah,
So
100%.
don't focus all your energy on, we got to go get all these players out the portal.
Yep.
You still got a lot of young players, young promising players that you want to keep. And so, like you mentioned, Nagy and him have been working on this for a bit. They've already had the talks, and I know that for them, and Nagy mentioned this, I think he mentioned this before, that the focal point of they take care of their players at the end of the season. Like, we ain't negotiating during the year. More so, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Is basically what he's saying. We will have a conversation about your performance at the end of the season. And here we are. Exit meetings are happening. Conversations are going. Some players may be getting offered a little bit lower than what they had before because of performance. The game's the game, and they may be doing that just so that they can have them either leave or they want to stick around for real. Here we go.
Yeah. And again, if they are able to find a way to bring back Kip Lewis, Isaiah Satania, either or both, count those as huge front office wins for this team, because both of those guys would be top 100 picks in the NFL draft in 2026. All right, let's get into some portal speculation coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.